everybody, happy Thursday. I hope you're all up and raring to go this morning. So we're going to be looking at comparing capacities today. Last lesson we were looking at how to measure capacities and the different types of capacities that there were and the volume as well. So we're going to start comparing it today. So to get us started, I'd like you to have a go at doing these 4 questions for me. So using your working out, so you're adding 2 numbers together, taking away, and multiplying and dividing. So it should be a nice, easy, nice, quick activity to get us warmed up today. Once you've had a go at these, pause the video and we'll go through the answers. We'll play the video to go through the answers. Okay, let's have a look. So number 1, you should have set it up looking something like this. So we should have had our hundreds, tens and ones column, 329 add 493. Starting in our ones column first, 9 add 3, which is 12. So we wouldn't write 12 in here, we would put the 2 in our ones column and exchange our 10 ones for 110 to put that under the ones tens column so we can still see the 12. Then in our tens column, we are doing 9 add 2, 9, 10, 11, but then don't forget to add your extra 1, so it will be 12. Again, I can't write 12 in here, so my 2 would go in my tens column and I would exchange 10 tens for 100 to put my 1 under my hundreds column. Then finally add 3, add 4, which is 7, add your 1, which is 8. So your first answer should have been 822. For number 2, what is 403 take away 255? Please make sure the 4 is in the hundreds, the 3 is in the ones, and because there's no tens, we put a 0. So starting in our ones column first, 3 take away 5, put 3 on your fingers. Can you take off 5? No, you can't, so we need to go and get some help. However, because we cannot exchange any tens because there isn't any, we must go straight to our hundreds to cross off our 4 and turn it into a 3. Now I'm going to take that 100 and I'm going to exchange 100 for 10 tens, so I'm going to put my little 1 next to my 0. Remember, we cannot jump 2 columns. So I still need help in my ones column, so I'm going to cross out the 10 and turn that into a 9 because I'm going to take 1 10 and I'm going to exchange it for 10 ones, so now I've got 13 in my ones column. Now I'm going to do 13 take away 5. I'm going to start from 5 and count up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 8 on my fingers. I've then got 9 take away 5. Again, I'm going to start from 5 and count up. 5 in my head. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I should have 4. And 3 take away 2 is obviously going to be 1. So your answer should have been 148. Let's have a look at number 3. So you should have set it up using column method as well. So we're doing 5 times 3, which is 15, but remember we can't write 15 in one column, so I have to put the 5 in my ones column and exchange 10 ones for 110, so that you can still see it says 15, but your 1 is underneath the equals bracket. Then in your tens column, you're doing 2 times by 3, which is 6, but don't forget to add your 1, which is 7, so your answer should be 75. Finally, for number 4, 28, 4 divided by 8, you could have either wrote your 8 times table, 8, 16, 24. So I know that the answer is 3 because there's 3 lots of 8. Alternatively, you could have done 8 circles, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you could have dotted it or dashed it 24 times. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and we can see that there are 3 in each, so the answer would be 3. Okay, now I'd like you to have a go at doing these next few questions. So this time we're looking at money and coins. So first of all, I want you to tell me what the total amount of coins is. So you'll have to go and find out what the total is, what's the amount overall. Then using that amount, I'd like you to tell me if there was 10 pence more, what would the amount be? Then looking at the amount again, if there was 10 pence less, what would the amount be? And if I spent 75 pence of the money that I have already got here, how much would I have left over? So you're finding the amount and then you're finding what 75 pence would be less. So I'd like you to have a go at doing this now. Once you've had a go, press play and we'll see if you've done the correct working out to see if you've got the correct answer. Okay, so we're going to have a look. So what is the total? What's the amount of all of them added together? So let's have a look. So we've got £1, add 50 pence, add, if we do all the big ones, bigger one first, 20 pence, add 10 pence, add 10 pence, add 10 pence, add 5 pence, add 2 pence, and add 1 pence. So if we start by, we've obviously know we've got a pound, so let's add, so we've got 50, 20, which is 70, add 10 is 80, add 10 is 90, add 10 is 100, so we've got another 100 pence, but we know 100 pence is the same as a pound, so we've now got 1 pound, add 1 pound, which is 2 pound, so I have got 2 pound, I've then got 5 pence, 6 pence, 7 pence, and 8 pence. You could have alternatively, you could have put them all into a column method to work it out as well. So we know that we've got £2 and 8 pence. Now if we were to write that with the decimal point, we would put £2, put our decimal point. Now we wouldn't put 80, we would put 0 because it is 8 pence, and we would need 2 numbers after to show. So it would be 8 in your at the end and 0 before it. Now what would 10p more? So if we converted this into all into pence, we would have £2, which is 200 pence. So I could put my hundreds, tens, and 1 column. So I've got £2, 200 pence, and 8. Now you'd have to put 08 because it's 208, not 280. So I know that there are 208 pence. Now if I want to do 10 more, I will look in my tens column and I've got 0 tens, I want 1 10 more. So if I do 0 add 1 is 1, and then I can write in my other numbers. So your 10 pence more would be 218 pence, or that would be around 100 pence in a pound, so that'd be £2 and 18 pence. So that would be 10 pence more. Now, if I have a look at doing 10 pence less, I could either have taken off 10 to find out, to work it out, or alternatively, I could have known if it's 10 less, I know my ones column isn't going to change. However, I haven't got any tens in my tens column, so I would have had to take exchange. So what is 1 less than 20? It will be 19. So it would be 198 pence, or if we were writing that, it would be £1 and 98 pence, because we've had to exchange. So we would have had to exchange the hundreds to help the tens column. Okay. The last one on this one, if I spent 75 pence, how much would I have left? So I want to do £2 and 8 pence, take away 75 pence. Now in order to do this, we're going to convert it, so let's put it all into pence. Obviously 75 is already in pence. If I change it, it says £2.8, so I've got 100 in pence in a pound, so it's 200 pence in £2, so I'm going to have 208 pence. In order to work this out, I could do my column method. And if I did my column method here, I could do 8 take away 5, which is 3, 0 8 take away 7, I can't do, so I would have to exchange. 100 for 10 tens, 10 take away 7 is 3, and 1 take away nothing is 1. Now that would, so your answer would be 133 pence, or there are 100 pence in a pound, so there is £1 and 33 pence. Now there is another way that we can do that, and I'm going to show you the other way that you could have completed this. So the other way you could have done it, you could have started at 75 pence and you could have jumped until you got to £2 and 8, or 208 pence. So I know that there are 100 pence in a pound, so I could have jumped, added 25 to 75 pence there to get to £1. I could then have jumped £2, which I would have added £1, and then I have got 8 pence to add on top to get to £2 and 8. So I could have done £1, add 25 pence, add 8 pence, which would have got me the same answer as £1.33. So that could have been a different way that you completed it. Okay, I'd like you to have a go at doing these ones. So if I wanted to buy a teddy for £5, how much more money would I need? So how much money have I got now? How much more money would I need to buy a teddy for £5? And then if and the last one is what is £8.53, add £2.75. So please have a go at doing that. Play the video once you have completed it to see if you have done the correct working out. I know that I've got £2.08 in total. So it says if I wanted to buy a teddy for £5, how much more money would I need? Remember, when we say the words more than or less than, we're going to be taking away because we're trying to find the difference of what we want. So I want to find the difference, so I'm going to do £5 take away £2.08. Now again, there's two ways that we can do this. We could either convert it and use the column method, or we could jump up to see how much we would need. So we're going to do the column method first. So let's convert it all into pence. So I know that in £5 there is 500 pence. In £2 there is 200 pence, and there's 8 pence as well, so it's 208 pence. So in order to work this out, I'm going to do my column method, HTO. I'm going to do 500 take away 208 pence. 0 take away 8 I can't do. I can't take any tens, but I can take 100. So I'm going to exchange 100, turn that into a 4, put it in my tens column for 10 tens. Then I'm going to exchange my 10 tens, 1 10 for 10 ones, so that will become a 9 because I've taken a 10 from it. So now I can do 10 take away 8, which is 2, 9 take away 0, which is 9, and 4 take away 2, which is 2. So your answer would have been 292 pence. Or remember, there are £2 and 200. It would have been £2.92 if you wrote it that way. So that's one way you could have done it. Alternatively, if you were in a shop and you would need to do it more in your head. So we can say if we started off at £2.08 and I want to get to £5, I can think about how much more money I would need. So I'm going to work out how much to my next pound. So I could either go to my next 10, so that would be £2.10. So there from 8 to 10 I've added 2 pence. And then I'm going to go to my next pound, so my next pound will be £3. So I've added, to get from £2.10 to £3, remember there's 100 pence in a pound, so I would have added 90 pence. And then to get from £3 to £5, I would have added £2. So if I added all of those together, £2 add 90 pence would be £2.90. Add your 2 pence, £2.92. So that would be another way you could get to your answer. Okay, and the final question, you are adding £8.53 to £2.75. Now you could add your pounds and then add your pence. Alternatively, what we could do is we could convert them all into pence. So in £1 there is 100 pence, so in £8 there's going to be 800 pence, and your 53, so it will be 853 pence. Add, there's 100 pence in a pound, so in £2 there's 200 pence, so add 275 pence. So if I now add those two numbers together and I put them in my column method, 5 add 3 is 8, 7 add 5 is 12, so I'm going to have to exchange my 10 tens for 100, and 8 add 2 is 10, add your 1 is 11, so again I'm going to have to exchange into my thousands column. And then obviously there's nothing in my thousands column, so just add my extra 1 and I have 1,128 pence. Now remember, when we are converting this back into pounds, I must have two numbers after my pence sign. So the final two numbers, I will have 828 pence, and then whatever is then before it, I would put before, so I would have £11 and 28 pence. So we're going to be moving on now to comparing the capacity or comparing the volume. Remember, capacity is the amount of amount that something can hold, and the volume is the amount of liquid that there is. So we're going to use less than, greater than and equal to make our comparisons. Now remember, our greedy crocodiles love to eat the biggest slice, so they're going to eat the biggest number. So if you are looking at a number which is 5 or a number which is 20, our greedy crocodiles are going to want to eat 20. So it will be 5 is less than 20 because the greedy crocodile wants to eat the bigger number. And remember, we use the equal sign when they are exactly the same. So I'd like you to have a go at doing this first of all. So can you put these in order from the lowest volume to the highest volume? So the lowest volume will be the least amount and the highest volume will be the most amount. So on a piece of paper, I'd like you to write the letters of the alphabet on here as to which was the lowest volume, getting to the highest volume. Once you've had a go at doing that, let's press play and see if you've got it correct. Okay, so let's have a look. So you should have had D was first because D is empty. Then it should have been C because that's the next lowest amount of liquid. F is the next one because again that's the next one. E is after F. A is the next because it's almost full, and then B has got the highest amount of volume because it's completely full. This time I'd like you to order these from the highest volume to the lowest volume. So starting with the one that is the highest volume and going right the way down to the lowest volume. So pause the video now. Can you have a go at writing those and then play them after? Okay, let's have a look then. So you should have said that B was the highest volume, there was the most amount of liquid there because it was full. Then A, then E, then F, then C, then D. So did you notice anything from ordering it from lowest to highest and then highest to lowest? Was there a quicker way of doing it? Well done if you actually said that there was, because you'd done it from the lowest to the highest, you could have just reversed the numbers to get the letters to go from highest to lowest. So if you did that, fantastic, you've spotted it straight away. Okay, this time we're going to order the capacity from the least to the most. Now, as you can see here, we've got lots of we've got some in litres and we've got some in millilitres. So think about what you're going to maybe need to do first, and then I'd like you to have a go at ordering them, so from the least to the most capacity. So once you've had a go at doing that, press play and we'll see if you have done it the same way as which I've done. In order to order and compare, we need to actually work out and put them all into the same. So as I have done here, so for example, I have converted all mine into millilitres. Now what you might have needed to do is you could have used your HCO columns to convert it into millilitres. So obviously 3,100 millilitres and 2,570 millilitres, they are all okay because obviously they are in millilitres to start with. However, when I've got 2 litres, I want to convert it into millilitres. Remember, I need to times it by 1,000, so I'm moving 3 spaces to the left, and if I haven't got anything, I fill it in with a 0. So you can see that 2 litres is the same as 2,000 millilitres. Similarly, 3 litres would be 3,000 millilitres, and if I had 2.5 and I wanted to turn it into millilitres, again I'm moving them 3 columns to the left because I'm multiplying. I'm moving my second number 3 columns over. Oops, that should be a 5. And then I've got nothing in my tens column, nothing in my ones column, so I'm going to fill that in. So it should be 2,500. Now I have got them all in the same unit of measure, they're all in millilitres. Now I can compare them and I can put them in an order this time. So I'm going from the lowest number to the highest number. Now one way we could have done this, again, we could put them all in my column. So now I have put them all into my column so I can see exactly where all the numbers would be situated. Now if I'm going from the least, it means I'm going to have the smallest number. So I'm going to start in my biggest column first of all because they are all in their thousands. So my least number is going to need to have the smallest thousand, so I can look at my 2s, and then my smallest 100. So obviously 2,000 is going to be the smallest because there's a 2 in the thousands and a 0 in the hundreds. Then I'm going to look at my next biggest one. So I'm going to write number 1 there. So this time I still want the next biggest one, so I still need to look in my 2,000s, not my 3,000s. I then look in my hundreds column, they both have 500, so I now need to look in my tens column, and 0 is bigger than 7, so that would be my next one. I then obviously would know that 2,570 would be my next biggest. Now I have done all the 2000s, I can look in the 3000s, and I remember I'm looking for the least amount. So 3000, they've both got 3000s. I look in my hundreds columns, 0 is bigger than 1, so that would be my next biggest capacity, and then finally the last one. So your order should look something like this. Now what I have actually then done is I have actually then used the original numbers to show the order. So 2 litres, which I've said is a 2000, 2.5 litres, which is 2500, 2570, 3 litres, which is same as 3000, and then 3100 millilitres. So you should have got an order that looks something like that. Okay, so I'd like you to have a go at doing the worksheet that is on Seesaw. This is what it looks like. Once you've had a go at doing that, please watch the answers to see if you've got all yours correct, and I'll talk through any which I need to, which you might find a little bit more difficult. And then there is an extension activity at the end of this video. So if you have completed it all, if you move the video on to the extension activity, you can then have a go at doing the extension activity. So let's have a look at the answers. So you had to put the glasses in order from the least amount of water. So you should have had B, which is empty, then D, then A, then C. In each pair, you then had to circle the objects that held the most amount of water. So obviously it would have been the bath, it would have been the swimming pool, and obviously the mug. So you should have circled all those. So those were some nice easy questions. Number 3, here are 2 jugs. What is the volume of liquid in jug A? So if we looked at the increments that they were going up in 100 millilitres, we could see that there were 600 millilitres in jug A. If we then have a look at jug B, we know half a litre is 500 millilitres. And if we look at the increments going up, they are going up in 100 millilitres, and it is halfway between 400 and 500, so it will be 450 millilitres. How do you know that the capacity of each jug is the same? Well, we know the capacity of each jug is the same because if we look at the maximum amount that can be held in the jugs, then it says 1000 millilitres in jug A and 1 litre is in jug B, and we know that 1 litre is the same as 1000 millilitres. Okay, so for the next one, which measuring jug container has the most liquid? So you have to first of all work out to see how much liquid was in each, and we can see that in jug A there was 425 millilitres because it was halfway between 400 and 450. We can then see in jug B, the increments are going up in 100, so there is 400 millilitres in jug B, so we know that jug A contains the most amount of liquid. Now please can you explain, if you haven't already done so, please explain your answer for this one, write it down, I'd love to see your explanations. Question 5, do you agree with Alex? 300 millilitres is greater than 1 litre because 300 is greater than 1. Now if you haven't explained your answer, please make sure you have done this on another piece of paper. Now Alex is not correct because even though 300 is bigger than 1, we know that millilitres are smaller than litres. So actually in 1 litre there is 1000 millilitres, which is therefore greater than 300 millilitres. So it would say that Alex is wrong because it should say 300 millilitres less than 1 litre. Here is the capacity of different containers. Put the containers in order of the capacity. Now you might have had to convert this first into the different, so that they were all into millilitres. So you had 400 millilitres, 99 millilitres, 3 litres 400 millilitres, which was 3,400 millilitres, and 2 litres, which was 2,000 millilitres. So you should have said B was the least with 99 millilitres, A was next with 400 millilitres, then D, which was 2 litres, which was the same as 2,000 millilitres, and then C, which was the same as 3,400 millilitres. Number 7, Esther is comparing the capacity of different containers. Esther has 2 bottles of water. She pours them into some glasses. Which holds more water, a bottle or a glass? So it says that she pours them into some glasses. Now, even though they are poured and they are shared out into glasses, we can see that 2 bottles is actually the same as 5 glasses. So we would say the bottle holds more, that it's got a higher capacity because you can get more liquid in 2 bottles than you could in 5 glasses. Part B, Esther has 2 more bottles of water and she pours them into 2 jugs. Which holds more water, a jug or a bottle? Well, we can see it is a jug because the jugs are not at full capacity, that the bottles are absolutely full to the top and they can't get any more water in, whereas the jugs, even though they've got the bottles of water in, there is still room for more water to be added, so they've got more capacity. And finally, question 8, Jack has 3 jugs of water. He pours 1 jug of water into a large container. He then pours the other jugs of water in, so you have to draw a line to show where the water should reach. Now we can see that from the diagram there, that each section, each part of the, almost like a bar model, each bar has to be the same height, so it would only reach about 3/4 full, or 3/5 full, because obviously the 3 jugs of water are the same amount in each water, so it would be the same size of bar into the container. Okay, for the extension activity then, I'd like you to write the sentence out for each of these to show how much is in each container, and then use less than, greater than or equal to compare these. So for example, number 1, I've worked out that there are 500 millilitres on the left hand side jug, there are 250 millilitres on the right hand side jug, and I have put in my correct sign to say that 500 millilitres is greater than 250 millilitres. I'd like you to have a go at doing this for all 6. Now some of them are, it's a bit of a guessing game as well, to kind of think where would that number be, what number would it be on, to use the jugs and the increments to have a really good guess at it. So when I go through the answers on the next slide, once you've had a go at finishing it all, play the video, and then let's see if you've got them correct. So number 1, 500 millilitres is greater than 250 millilitres. For number 2, I said it was about 800 millilitres. I would also, because obviously the increment that's the little increment underneath is 750, so anything between 800 and 850 millilitres, that I will allow that, is less than 1,000 millilitres. Number 3, it's just above the 250 mark, so I would say that was about somewhere between around the 300, just below, more than 250 but less than 300 millilitres. Is less than, and I think it's about 400 millilitres, but as I say, if it's around those numbers then that's okay. Number 4, 500 millilitres is less than 750 millilitres. Number 5, 500 millilitres is the same as 500 millilitres. And number 6, 500 millilitres is less than, and we can see that it's just above the 500 millilitres, so it should either be 550 or 600 millilitres. If you'd like to as well, you can write your own questions, you could draw your own jugs as well, and to come up with some extra questions that you could have a go at doing. It could also be the fact that you make up some sentences where you're using litres and you've got to compare them against millilitres, so it could be 3.6 litres and you need to say whether it's greater than, less than or equal to 473 millilitres, and you can write your own sentences. I'd love to see all your work on Seesaw, so please do put it on there and have a great day.